Before we do anything else, I want you to open Dr. Racket right now and change your language to intermediate student. Once you are done this lesson, you are going to ascend to a whole new level of computer science. That's because you're about to learn a new weird idea. Functions are values. Yes, we already knew that functions could consume values and they also produce values. But now we're going to talk about functions as if they themselves are values. Let's demonstrate this by writing a weird function named giveTwice. This function will consume a number and a function that consumes two numbers and produces a number. The giveTwice function will produce a new number by calling the function with the value passed in twice. Notice that I said the giveTwice function consumes a function that consumes a number. Let's write out the signature. So we have a function called giveTwice. It consumes a number, that part's clear, and then it also consumes a function itself. That inner function, consumed by giveTwice, consumes two numbers and produces a number. The whole giveTwice function produces a number itself. We can also write out the header. So this consumes a value and a function and does something. Looks weird, doesn't it? This function consumes a number and a value that is itself a function that consumes two numbers and produces a new number. The output of the giveTwice function is also a number. The first parameter is of type number, the second parameter is of type function. The unit test might shed a little bit more light on this. So we'll do our check expect, call giveTwice, and if we pass it 5 in the plus function, it will add 5 and 5, which will make 10. If we call our check expect and our giveTwice function passing 7 in times, it will call 7 times 7, which is 49. Check expect on giveTwice of 10 and minus is 10 minus 10, which is 0. And for one more, we'll do giveTwice on 5 divided by. So we get 5 divided by 5, which is 1. Notice that I have passed in a function for the second parameter. Plus, asterisk, minus, and dash are all functions. Sorry, not dash, division. I can pass in any function as long as it takes two numbers and produces a new number. I could even make my own function that takes in two numbers and passes it on. So we'll write average, which consumes a pair of numbers, produces a new number, consumes two numbers, and produces their average. In this case, average is a function, consumes number 1, number 2, does some stuff. The check expect for the average function is fairly straightforward. The average of 3 and 5 is 4. So actually writing this is going to be the sum of the two numbers divided by 2. So a relatively straightforward number, and we can pass this to our giveTwice also. The average of two numbers that are the same is the number itself. So the average of 5 and 5 is 5. Okay, I keep talking about this function, but we haven't written it yet. So let's fix that. In this case, we'll go back up to our definition. And this function will be pretty straightforward. It calls a function and passes it a value twice. We have a function that consumes a number and a function. That's the giveTwice function. And then calls the function by passing in the number twice. What function does it call over here? Well, who knows? It's whatever function that it was given as an argument in the parameter. First it's plus, then it's asterisk, then it's minus, then it's slash. It's like how we don't know what number it has been given either until someone concretely calls it and passes in an actual number. This function is silly, but the overarching point is not. Much like numbers and strings and structs, we can treat functions as their very own type. That means we can pass specific functions as arguments of function calls. Heck, we can even make a list of functions. So here I've got all those numeric functions again. There's also the comparison functions. We could pass in the string handling functions like string length and string append, and even our cons function. All of that is I haven't actually run intermediate student. So until it is actually changing the language, it's an error. But because I have forgotten parentheses, it's giving an actual error. Once I run it and it all works, I can rewrite my code, and this time, now that I'm officially an intermediate student with Lambda, we successfully can make lists of functions and pass in functions as arguments to other functions. This is a whole new world, and at this point you probably don't understand why it's useful. That's up next.